Welcome to another episode of the APL Spotlight Series. Incredible guests the world over, amazing insights, experiences, and they're here to share part of themselves with us. I'm going to call it high frequency, high vibe, or just they have really big hearts. Most of our guests are giving service to others, and that's what makes this show so special. And they often take steps with the universe, whether it's catching lit sage, being blown through two screens, feeling energy, seeing light or interacting with angels or other loving guides. And for anybody watching, obviously share, subscribe, like, comment. Check out the other episodes. We've had a White House physician to the U.S. president, youngest Delta Force operator, John Gray, the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and a bunch of other books. 50 million books sold. Most people don't know, though, he was the personal assistant to the Maharishi, the one that the Beatles loved back in the day. Uh, but also, you can take steps that you see the guests or myself take. You have no limits. You have a big heart. And so I encourage you to go back, hit pause where you need to, use a photograph of an angel. If you see light fly by, don't be shocked. That happens in the show. Jennifer Passavant seems to be our record holder 3 or 4 times for angels flying by in the middle of the show. So we have a very special guest today coming to us from Germany, highly intuitive, absolutely a delight to sit with, high energy, high vibe. Grace, real Grace. She's a vocalist, energy healer, sound healer, and as I said, totally intuitive. So let me do the best I can for pronouncing her name, Marysol Ximenez-Carrillo. And thank you, Marysol. Very good to see you.
Oh, good to see you too. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I feel very fortunate that our paths crossed, and I'm lucky to have you here. I'm taping you a second time, even though the first time hasn't happened yet. But
Yes.
this is the APL Spotlight Series, so it'll be airing within 24 hours, tomorrow morning, your time in Germany. Let's back up and have you explain either your childhood, your teenage years, or if you ran away from your intuition for a long time, when did you pick it up again? How do you describe all this? How do you describe the universe? And when did you know you had such a big heart?
All right, I'll try to put that all into one answer. So, I think I've always been quite intuitive and highly sensitive. And for a long time, that felt more like a curse than a blessing. So now it feels like a blessing. But especially in my teenage years, it felt more like a curse because I felt like an alien in this world. I didn't fit in. Um, I felt homesick and I didn't know why. Now I know why, homesick to the stars. And so I grew up in a loving family, of course, with like childhood stuff that comes up. But yeah, so I had a good life, and then when I became a teenager, I had this feeling of what I just described, this homesickness that got stronger, and I started to develop severe depression. So especially into my later teens, I'd say so. Say, yeah, with about 16, it really picked up. I had deep emotional pain and experienced this depression, and I didn't know what that was and why that was. It was just completely overwhelming. I felt too much, I sensed too much, the world seemed wrong, I didn't feel like I belonged. It was just, everything was just too much. Oh, excuse me. Um, and yeah, and then my dream was to be on stage. And so my parents allowed me to leave school 3 years early. And luckily, I was accepted at the University of Arts in Berlin to study performing arts. And that was my dream. So you would have thought I'd be doing really well, but on the inside, it just kept getting worse. And to make a very long story short, that really put me on my path of exploring who I really am. How can I get better? How can I heal from this? How can I resolve it? And so after visiting different therapists, which didn't work for me, and I'm sure there are great ones, but it was not what worked for me, I started working with people that work energetically. And that started opening doors, and that started changing so much for me. I began to understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and that really brought me onto this path of spirituality and consciousness and exploring who I am, all the way up to now, 25 years later, or even more, with me working with people. So that's been a long, long path since then.
Can you take us through a few of the modalities you experienced early on? Maybe mention the healers and what you experienced.
So I met a woman in Berlin. She does these soul journeys and she's clairvoyant. And so she takes you on these journeys. And it was incredible what I went through with her. So it's different lifetimes, unconscious childhood, all kinds of different things that she moves through. And as I started going through those layers, that was just, that revealed so much and took me deeper. And pretty early on, I knew I wanted to work with people at some point. Like, thank you for saying that about my heart. But I do feel like I've always had so much love for just other people and wanting to help and wanting to be of service. So I'm very glad that I've been able to do that. And now in this way, and I mean, even being on stage is a way of being of service. And it was always important to me to be a channel already at that moment, so that when I sing, when I dance, when I tell a story, that people receive that vibrationally, what serves them well. I held that intention already with the theater work. And of course, now I got to dive fully into it.
How do you view the universe today? Are we alone? Is mankind the top of the chain, or are there galactic loving figures? What's been your experience to date, and what's your view on everything?
Well, we're definitely not alone. We have our beautiful star family, and there are so many incredible beings also here to help us. That's my experience. I can always only speak from what I've experienced, but there are highly benevolent beings. And the cool thing is, because outside of this earth, time and space doesn't really exist, right? So we think in a linear way, we experience our lives in a linear way, but that's just while we're in these human bodies. So I actually connect to star family, and sometimes one of those beings is me from the future, so coming back to work with me. So it blends. So it's really exciting when you tap into that and you blend with that aspect of you. So that happens for when I work with people as well. I feel that part of me blend with me to give me information or allow me to channel in a way that has a completely different quality and depth to it, because it opens up the dimensions and the space.
How do you describe yourself from the future? Do you see yourself physically as light? Do you see yourself physically in human form, or not at all that way? It's a different way.
So there's one part that I connect to most with. So I have deep Andromedan roots within me, let's call it that, or origins. And there is an aspect of me, an Andromedan aspect, also a female one, and this aspect appears in a lot of light, so not as dense as a human body would be. You can imagine like an outline of a humanoid shape, but much more translucent and higher vibrational, different colors and a lot of light. So that's how I would describe it. Yeah.
Ooh, very cool. What's your view on the concept of, quote, disclosure coming from various governments or military organizations or just TV channels or the big Spielberg Hollywood movie in June? Is that more fear-based, controlled dissemination of information? How would you phrase all that versus is it already here? Disclosure.
Okay. Are we allowed to talk about that on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
no big deal.
Yes. So, well, I mean, I feel that anything coming from governments is, of course, always trying to put fear within us and lower our vibration. There are powers behind all those institutions that, well, we all know what's going on there. So I think it always comes back to us. We're in contact right now. And then I think when people are waiting for the big open contact, that may come, absolutely. When, how, I don't know. But when we go within and don't wait for the big external revelation, but allow ourselves to connect now, which we can, then then that is so valuable for our own path, and how that will happen collectively on the outside. And when that time comes, I don't know. But I don't really listen to what governments put out there. And, there's stuff of Project Bluebeam and what they might try. And I mean, we need to really step out of fear and just trust our own experiences. And yeah, I hope that answers your questions. But I do know quite a few people who have had like encounters that were not just on the inner planes, but openly here on this earth plane. I know a few people very well where I know I can fully trust them, and they have had incredible encounters. So it's happening already.
I'm going to read a passage. I'm going to read a passage from Angels,
Hmm.
and we'll see if I do have what I'm looking for here. I think I do. I have parts of it. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to find it while we're talking on the next topic.
Hmm.
Talk to us about compassion, kindness, love, and how these are the essential ingredients.
Yes, they really are. Um, I mean, that's what it all comes down to, right? We're so busy rushing through our lives, trying to accumulate things, being successful. And of course, we're allowed to live abundantly and enjoy the material aspect of being human. But when we leave, what is it that really matters? Does it matter if I owned one car or 10 cars, if I lived in an apartment or a villa? I believe what really matters is, how did I love? How did I treat other human beings? How did I treat others? Was I kind? Was I compassionate? And so I think when we look at the world today, and there's so much chaos and violence, and a lot of people, they ask me, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. But when we take a look at ourselves, where am I not offering love to myself? Where am I not compassionate with myself? Where am I not kind with myself? Where am I in conflict with others? We contribute to the collective. So I think those are the key points and portals to move through, and not just with others, but also with ourselves. Because how we treat ourselves, that's also something we put out in the world, and then others react to that vibration. So I think those things that you mentioned are extremely important for sure. Yes.
Can you share with us? It could have been dream time. It could be physical, though. You're on a street corner, you turn, a stranger says something, it's just what you were thinking you needed to hear. You
Hmm.
turn back, they're gone. Or the flat tire gets fixed by a stranger. You turn to thank them, they're gone. Can you share one of those encounters with us?
Yeah, sure. Let me think. Okay, this is a little bit different, but it popped into my mind first, so I'll take that one. As you know, I just came back from Peru a couple of weeks ago, and before that, I had already been there 7 years ago. And when I was there 7 years ago, I made a drum myself. It was part of a project, and the woman of the shamanic couple that we made the drums with, she painted it. And then the first night I had it with me, after the paint had dried, and I was in the hotel. I woke up the next morning and I was drumming in bed. And I thought, that's weird. I don't remember picking up my drum, but okay. And I see all my ancestors lining up around the bed. And and I was like, something's different, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And I was drumming. I was communicating with my ancestors. It was very real. They were in the room. And it kept going for a little while. And then I really woke up. So it was like I had woken up in the room, everything. I could see the room. I was in the bed. I could feel the sheets. I saw the ancestors. And then I really woke up. And I looked next to my bed, and the drum was on the floor. So that was incredible. That was very powerful. It was like the drum was initiated into being used from that moment on.
Can you describe your ancestors or those beings that were there, but starting not with, let's say, the closest passed over relative, perhaps, but just a little further out? Who was there?
So let me see. Let me go back because it was 7 years ago. So I remember it being they were in a circle, and vibrationally it was like I felt those closer and the ones that were further away. And of course, we might be one of those ancestors. So there was a different vibration to every ancestor. Um, and I remember it wasn't like I was looking at one single one and saying, oh, that's him or that's her. It was just this deep feeling of belonging, of family, of connection. And it was more like a stream of, how do I say, love and information and code, so that telepathic communication that was going on that is hard to put into words. That's how I experienced it.
Beautiful. With your permission, I'll light some sage. And so for those who are coming in for the first time, it just means you can catch some sage smoke. It might be here in Texas, I'm lighting it, but as Marysol said, there's no time and space, or not as much as you think, because this isn't about thinking. So just be in your heart. Ask angels, the universe, to step in if you need extra help. But your heart's already kind of a big Olympian, especially at smelling sage. So here's the sage, red-tailed hawk feather, Bic lighter. I'm giving it a go. Some people start getting it before I've even generated smoke. That's okay. You don't have to taste it either. Really hyper intuitive folks can sometimes taste it. You don't have to taste it. Here's the smoke. Would you let us know when you're getting it in Germany? Already getting it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you close your eyes and get flowers, ocean smell from somewhere far, not like Bremen, but more like Seychelles, Antigua, Hawaii, Miami, somewhere. And then also get light language on your eyelids. And you might get, it might be just angels flying by saying hi. And so more like feather dusting of glitter. But it might be light coding, light symbols. And you already got the flowers. Did you get the ocean?
Yes.
Which ocean do you know, or is just good smelling ocean?
It's actually the Mediterranean.
Nice. And did you get extra light?
Yes.
Can you ask your whoever's volunteering? Let's say there's a bingo game on the other side. Someone yells bingo. They won. They're the ones who get to present the following to you. Some sort of a light symbol coding, or it just might be a topic in lights. Either way, it's a subject that you're like, oh, I'd love to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you get for all of us?
I heard encoded frequency.
So
That's what came.
talk to us about encoded frequencies and how listening is merely opening the line of communication available to each person with a beating heart if they want to pay attention. Talk to us about encoded frequencies and more.
Yes. So I believe everything is sound, right? Because sound is vibration, and vibration creates a frequency. So if you have the waves of the vibration, that wave movement, and you have 100 waves per second, you have 100 hertz. So the vibration creates the frequency. And our bodies are made up of water for a big part. So sound travels, in my experience, into the physical body, but also then into the non-physical parts of our bodies and of our beings. And so, especially with sound and light language, and if you sing or speak, we carry codes that we can transmit. So for instance, if I offer a sound healing and I sing intuitively, that sound is infused with a frequency, with light codes, and that flows to the person or the group into the physical and non-physical level. And it also surpasses time and space. So you can send sound into the quantum field where it may move beyond this incarnation to others that wish to receive something specific. And we can all do this, because when we speak, even now, right, my voice is encoded with my essence, because that's who I am. That's how I resonate. And when I speak, that is part of it. When you speak, your essence flows through you as well. And so if we work as a channel, and we can all channel because we're all connected ultimately, it's just about allowing and learning how to access that and how to use it. We can all channel that, and it's all about intuition. So if I offer someone a transmission and I hold a clear intention of what I wish to offer, then that sound can be infused with those codes, with that information, with that light information. So yeah, I hope that that answers your question.
I'll put up an angel named Joy. She's pink light. It's a pink ball of light. If you don't mind putting your hand up, feeling what you can feel through your hand first, and then maybe down your back, and it could be like juggling a lot of balls right now. Maybe on the crown chakra separately. Catch a wind in the room or flowers. She'll bring you something. It could be cotton candy. It could be anything. And she's Joy. She's a high peppy voice. If you're doing this at home and you get pink light, although she's been every color in the last 15 years, mostly pink. Allow for what you can allow for, let go, and see with all of you, or feel with all of you, or do the Zen thing, feeling without feeling. And what is she saying as a reminder for us all?
She's saying that we shall allow ourselves to be much more joyful and to connect to that inner child aspect that also holds the curiosity, to allow ourselves to connect to that more deeply again, despite all that we witness in the world, but to connect to that part of us that is joyful and curious.
Okay. And I'll put up 4 archangels for you. There's a lot of complexity in man, organizations, countries, and even missiles flying and more. Um, 4 archangels: Archangel Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel in light energy form. I've got them in other ways. It doesn't matter how they show up, they're just there. What do they say about all the complexity of mankind? Is there a bigger plan? Are we getting more help than we realize? And how do we trust that plan?
Yes, we are receiving more help than we realize, and it may be more subtle at times in the way that we perceive it. So to be open to receiving guidance and messages in any way that may be right for us. So to release our attachment to how we may think that something may come through or how we may be supported. And to ask for guidance, to ask for support, because we do have free will. They are with us, they are around us, but when we ask, when we invite them into our field, that holds great power. So to allow ourselves to ask for help, to ask for guidance and for assistance, and to, even though it may seem hard right now at times, to always come back to trusting in whatever way we can, and that yes, in the long run, we are on a really good path. It's going to be really good, and things will unfold in a way that serves us all, but it takes time, and we are moving through such profound shifts and changes, and we need to also be patient, and within that not lose our hope and trust, and truly ask for guidance, yes.
Aw. And so it's clear you flow, or you're a flower, or a flower with how much you're able to listen and be a presence for all of us. So thank you. Let's get another compliment for you. Charlotte, she's everybody's favorite teacher from third grade or third form with words meant to help you expand. She's got a Orion background originally, galactic origins. Joy is cosmic. Archangels are cosmic. Charlotte has an Orion background. What are you getting from Charlotte? She should feel very different than other angels.
Mm-hmm. So, just what I'm seeing vibrationally, I'm going to try to put it into words. There's a movement of light and of darkness, and it's also about embracing that within us. So to see what we judge on the outside, to take a look within. Where do we have something that we may still need to shift? And are we allowing ourselves to embrace our light and our darkness? To take a look in that way and to honor those aspects in us. And we all carry parts in us. We've all had so many different experiences and different incarnations and different constellations as well as on this earth. And by allowing ourselves to see the light and the darkness in ourselves and not judge it, but to bring it back to the heart space, and through that release judgment for others as well, and to find that common ground of compassion, And also there's, wait, let me see. Yes, that movement in the cosmos, because, there was the destruction of Lyra and the Orion Wars, and there's been so much. So we also carry um, memories depending on what our soul has moved through, where we've been. And so there are many memories coming up at this time as well, maybe things that we've seen, that we've gone through that were difficult. So this is a time to truly bring deep healing to a lot of that. And so the easier we go on ourselves and the more of that kindness and softness and gentleness we also offer to ourselves, the more we can bring all of this into a true depth of healing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll put up an angel named Minn, who's oceany or light waves of energy and water. She's got a serious background, not trying to sound too serious. She's Mother Hawaii or Pacific Princess. She's my guardian angel and Dr. Karen Wyatt's guardian angel. Maybe 80,000 of us have her as a guardian angel. Just Minn's fine. Minwala, very soft-spoken professor. Definitely get something very private first.
Mm-hmm.
And you, even though she's an angel today, like a dolphin, if light beings are like whales, let her show you something about Andromeda and your concurrent past life, one of them from that direction, and that's private to you. Just say got it when you're getting it and breathe
Okay.
extra. Yeah, and
Yes.
breathe extra to feel it in your toes and through your whole rainbow body, rainbow light body. There'll be a message out of all that though, something that'll like a match gets struck and you're like, "Oh."
Mm.
And she'll help you with that if you need it, but I think you're going to just be fine for sharing the message.
So, what I'm getting and seeing is that it's all interconnected. So, in our human vessel, in our human bodies, we can feel so cut off, so disconnected at times when everything feels quite dense here and heavy, and especially now, often overwhelming. We have so many questions in our everyday lives, all of that. So, to remember the interconnectedness of things, and especially also the serious energy, that flow of cosmic water, the flow of water. And water is a great transmitter. So water can carry codes as well and information. So to allow ourselves to connect to that core part of our own being, to that depth, and to the interconnectedness into the cosmos. So with the beings, with the other aspects of ourselves, to allow ourselves to draw from that, to be guided by that, and that in fact there is no separation. Once we surpass that illusion of separateness, of being separated, disconnected. So in those moments, to really go within and consciously reconnect, ask to feel that interconnectedness of all that is, and to ask for the element of water with that flow element to teach us to reconnect and to invite that movement of flow into our own bodies and beings, and maybe through that even connect with the intelligence, with the wisdom, with the love of Andromeda or Sirius, whatever you may be connecting to in that moment. But the Sirius energy is definitely very present. The blue light beings, they're truly here to serve us. So to also invite them in and to ask to connect.
And
Yes.
maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago, let's back up. If you were to put a definition to compassion, and we grabbed 100 humans who wanted to listen for fun for 1,000 days each to hundreds of angels, there would not necessarily be at the end of the 10,000 definitions or something any two that had to be the same. There's a million definitions of
Mm-hmm.
compassion. So I have 5 or 6 here. I'm going to read them, and I would love to see whatever comes up from these definitions of compassion. So, what is compassion about? How to do more? Um, Jesus said compassion is open eyes and an open heart. Raphael said, compassion is releasing fears and judgments. Abe, the Abraham of old, an angel on everyone's team, like your grandfather, he'll tell you he was a jerk as a human, but he's awesome now. Compassion is not judging, taking action with no thought. Dale, an angel with an Andromeda background, like Greg Kinnear, the actor, wonderful, wonderful angel. I've seen him in human form. He said, compassion is just being and trusting the outcome to be of the highest intent for all. And I'll do Mac, former Pleiadian angel today. Compassion is treating every moment with the awareness of a newborn baby. What reaction are you getting?
Yeah, that all sparked something. What really stood out is the non-judgment for ourselves and others. That doesn't mean we can't be aware of things going on. It doesn't mean we can't set our boundaries. But to me, compassion is I honor your path, I honor my path. So we're so quick to judge when we don't know what someone has gone through and why they may be reacting the way they are. So to take that step back, of course, set a boundary when you need to. When someone, we don't need to let others treat us in a way that's not right. We can draw that line. But still, where do we place our judgment? How quickly do we place our judgment? And so that is something that has served me well, to say, I honor your path, I honor mine. And who am I to judge what your path is? Who am I to judge who you are at this moment? You have your path, you have your experience, and I have mine, and let's take it from there. And as I said, also honoring my path. I'm still learning it, because all those years back, I was very judgmental about myself, and I can still be harsh with myself. I'll be much more compassionate with others than I am with myself, and I have to keep coming back to that. So I think learning to be compassionate for ourselves, towards ourselves, that's a big thing, especially right now. Yes.
And an angel named Millicent. This is a black retriever's guardian angel who's passed over, named Maggie. But Millicent was her guardian angel. She said, compassion is treat all with kindness and love. And one more, Dull Knife, who I was about to put up next, Native American chief, historical figure, Cheyenne, wisdom with some humor. He said, compassion is being kind to yourself and letting go of past failures and accomplishments in the now. With that, I'll do an introduction to Dull Knife. He's wisdom with some humor, like a mountain range. You might smell tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, desert piñol, pine, one of those 50 sacred smells. Let him bring you something very privately, catch a scent in the air, hear a set of drums that are not yours, beating away. And get a beautiful insight from him, plus something to share with all of us. He's a beautiful, unconditional love spirit guide.
Yes, okay, beautiful energy. So there's a great sense of peace, I feel, and a groundedness. So there's a centeredness, and I just was reminded of that saying. How does it go with, when the roots go deep, there's no reason to fear the storm. Yes, that's the one. So this expansion between the above and the below, and that we're also reminded of our grounding, of our being here, not just opening to the above and to the multidimensionality of things, but to be here, to be present, to be grounded, and also connecting to the wisdom of the earth and all that she carries, and to remember that our beautiful Pachamama, our Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, is also resonating in all those different dimensional levels, within all those layers, and that we have access to that. So to open ourselves up to that wisdom. Again, not just the above, but the below, and to center ourselves in the center of that. So yeah, that's that very peaceful stream of presence. And it connects the above and it connects the below, and to allow ourselves to let our own roots go deep. And because the higher we want to go, the deeper we need to go. And to release any fear of being human with that, when we feel like, when I'm too connected here, when I'm too much here, can I go up? And yes, that is exactly needed, that movement into the groundedness, into the presence, and then we rise up to bring those two together. Yes.
I have another Native American chief, red shirt, historical figure, Lakota Sioux chief, and he said, be keenly aware of where your emotions are in each moment. He's the gentlest mom in the world. Compassion, compassion, compassion. Wearing a U.S. presidential medal the day after this photo was taken, he and Geronimo were at the White House, Pennsylvania Avenue, horseback parade. He's a sweetie. Anyone going through difficulties gravitates to him typically. Very soft spoken. What's he saying?
So that which I'm seeing first is like a transmission of grace and light that comes through his eyes. So it's like the words will follow. First comes the light of grace. So I have the image of all of us holding hands. It's that feeling of community, of support, of not carrying the weight by yourself. So that flow of grace connects us all, and there is that longing for coming back to community, because many are so isolated. And so there's so much love here for all of us. I feel like there's just this vibration of a deep blessing moving through the field to anyone that wishes to receive it. And just again, this image of his eyes looking at you with so much kindness and grace. That word keeps coming up. So the feeling of someone just looking at you and really seeing you down to your core, through your soul, seeing every part of you, but without any judgment, just with pure love for all that you are, for all that you've gone through, for all that you've experienced, for who you are now, with all that you are. Like being truly seen by someone, being truly valued and honored on that deep, compassionate level. And then that turns around to, or shifts to, can you look at yourself in that way? Can you look at yourself through eyes of kindness, of compassion, of releasing judgment? Can you be that for yourself that you wish to receive? And then to just observe and not to put yourself down if it's not 100%, but just to hold that intention. And even if you look at yourself with a tiny bit more of compassion than you did yesterday, then to let that be enough. Releasing pressure, releasing the shoulds. And then again, coming back to those eyes looking at you and truly seeing you for who you are and letting the flow of that vibration move through you.
I have one more Native American chief. It's a trio. Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo. Although I've always put it out of order. They've been with me since 1970 when my dad passed away when I was 2. He was a Navy fighter pilot type, but was off of Naples, Italy. Nighttime crash. It was my dad's time to go. F4 Phantom backseat, radar intercept officer, but I think he had just turned 25 or 26. But again, it was his time to go. Um, and a woman walked these 3 pictures down the street in Virginia Beach, Virginia, to my mom, having heard that the military had come by, the telegram, hey, your husband's passed away. And so she delivered these 3 paintings by a very famous artist, Jack Davis, who, before computers existed, he had drawn these. He did the Mad Magazine cover of Alfred E. Newman that gets mentioned in politics sometimes. There's Red Shirt one way.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's Dull Knife. One of these days. Here it is. Here's Dull Knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then Geronimo. And
Oh, wow.
and these hung over my bed as a kid and then in my offices and stuff as an adult. For 2 weeks, maybe in 2014, I was having a dinner party, but for 2 weeks I'd played psychic without knowing what boundaries were. So I'd spent all my energy, nothing left, didn't cancel the dinner party, and hadn't met any angels or chiefs, but they came in pretty quickly after this. A voice came in and said, most of the guests were musician types, but one was younger and she was going to ask me a question. And I heard, do not answer the question. Punt, send her up to one of the 4 bedrooms upstairs where those 3 pictures are on the wall. Have her ask her questions of the chiefs and not to come back until she was done. So, sure enough, in the middle of dinner, Austin's a pretty relaxed crowd. It's sort of like Woodstock mentality when it comes to spirituality. They just get it. Some people, older. Um, so I said exactly what I was told to say, and she's off. And she goes to this bedroom, sits with the 3 chiefs. She comes back 40 minutes later, smiling. She said, "Those guys are wonderful. I got all my answers. Thanks." And
Mm-hmm.
I hid my jaw from dropping because I hadn't met those guys yet. But I was like, mental note to self: they've been with me my whole life. I better get to meet these guys. Here's Geronimo, historical photo, young. And he's action, 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 dry wit, fierce, like a lightning bolt, starts finishing the question before you've the answer. He's got the answer before you can finish the question. But here's an older photo of Geronimo. He's a sweetheart. I know he's a tiger in the other photos, but if you could catch sage, sweetgrass, juniper, desert pinon in the air around you, one of those 50 sacred smells, what are you getting in the air around you?
Yeah, I got some more white sage
Okay. And then have a chat with
and
him.
that, and something else, but I can't put my put a name to it. Yeah, it's
And
like a combination.
he can tell you what it is if you want. And as he's speaking with you, let all 3 chiefs join you and any extra figures, White Buffalo, Calf Woman, Big Mary, Angels, and have a little ceremony. But from it, if love's the fabric of the universe and everything is much more simple than all the complexity here would have us believe, maybe you can deliver a message from them to us at the other end of this mini ceremony, or even hum something that you get hummed with or to, if I said that in English.
Hummed.
And so we'll get a
Okay.
humdinger.
I can ask for, I just need to switch my microphone. I can ask for a sound transmission if you want to.
Um, Sound doesn't work so hot with these
Okay.
microphones, but we might work something out
Oh
for a
no, because
different recording.
I have a good one here. You'll
Oh, wow.
definitely hear it. So
Okay.
you want me to
If
switch it quickly?
Yes, if you want to switch it
Okay.
quickly, and I'll do a public service announcement, which is please do put a comment down if you're shy and emoji counts. If you're worried about doing any of this, don't. You can put a palm up to any photo, hit pause. Yeah, swap your microphones out if you want. Did you already do it? Um, Put your palm out and you can feel energy It'll be cool. It'll be hot. It'll feel like a wind. Try too hard focused here, and you'll get a wind in the room, or you'll feel fluttering around you. Close your eyes if you need extra help, or take your other hand and put it on your heart. There's so many ways to let go. You do it just fine as a gold medal Olympian, which you probably don't view yourself as. When you take a shower, walk the dog, not with the iPhone up to your face, when you're really walking the dog. And the contrast is simply when you think about walking the dog, you know you're not walking the dog, but you do a lot of thinking about walking the dog before you do it, or mowing the lawn, or that chore, or cleaning the garage, or all that other stuff. It's Thich Nhat Hanh pieces every step. Really, as soon as you drop into your heart, everything shifts and what you look at changes as well, and what you see. So I'll do a final quote before we go right back to Marysol. Um, Mary once said, love is in everything, or love is a constant. Open your eyes to find love. And with that, what do you have for us?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Ooh, and can I put up two angels with Andromedan backgrounds? Just in case there's some influence. I'll do a Pleiadian as well first. Mac, don't call her Mackenzie. Everything plants, animals, nature, Pleiadian background. And here's Penelope, my chief healing angel. She might be my business manager coming down in human form to help me out here. But there's a smiley face in there. She's got an Andromedan background. And then Dale that I mentioned before. If you don't mind closing your eyes and having a huge Andromedan influence come in, if I'm doing a good thing for sound. Who says the Andromedans don't have it together when it comes to groovy sound and vibration? Of course they do. Okay, and then what do you have for us?
All right, that's quite a party. All right, so all that you've described, may this transmission of sound reach you on the deepest level possible. May it flow beyond all times, realms, and worlds, all universes, all dimensions, all lifetimes and incarnations in 0 point time. May it carry the codes, the light information, any messages, all that you're meant to receive in this moment. So just breathe it in and allow yourself to receive. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in the sound through the space of your heart. Breathe out into all directions. And then slowly come back.
Lovely. While you're still in that zone, can we have 4 women come in? Galactic women, one from Andromeda. If you don't mind closing your eyes, let her do her intros first before I say the next name. One of them you've met, I believe, already when we chatted last time. But the woman from Andromeda, she'll just do her own intro. And if you could just say got it for the rest of us, that you've got that connection started. And she might show a lot of light. And if you could breathe extra, shoulders up and down, or just at least a millimeter, half a millimeter through the mouth. Nobody needs to see it. Yep. And then the second one is the one from Sirius, green flowing outfit. I think that's the one with pinpoints of light floating around her, tied to earth forests. I think you already met her last time we chatted. There's a woman from Sirius. Again, not trying to sound too serious. I can't describe her for you, but she's going to be elegant and she'll do her own intro. And right away, you should be like, you've got all 3 so far. Yep. And if you just say yes, that you have all 3, I'll do the 4th in just a second.
Yes.
And the 4th is Alirin. She is wunderbar. She's fun. She's got sparkle, delight. I still don't have the right word. Grace meets movement. And between the 4, if you don't mind hearing either hints, they'll put the vibration your way without the sound, but when it hits you, it'll turn into sound. It'll turn into something that might turn into music from your mouth, again, to all of us, but it might sound entirely different than what you just did, which was already amazing art. But it's going to have something else to it. I don't know any more than that. I have done enough talking. Marysol, is it okay to leave you in their hands and to have you generate additional sound?
Yes. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
So before I begin, they're showing me that they invite you to listen with the cells of your body and through the cells of your body with your cosmic selves. And your mind doesn't need to be able to understand that. Just breathe through the cells of your body and receive. No mononaya kayanaya to ya 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 ko ya yo ria ora ora ya huyano inamore yano kuriano yano ari tutarayo yana na 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 yana ya yaro kuro yano ra yano ra ya 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 ya
If you don't mind doing a little listening for all of us with the quartet, what does the woman from Andromeda have as a reminder for mankind or humanity, or for all of us willing to pay attention? What's her reminder?
So her reminder is to not play small. So the Andromedans vibrate at a very high level. And she says that we are here to also remember ourselves as the masters that we are, to see ourselves as the masters, and to allow ourselves to embrace our light, our grandness, but not from the viewpoint of the ego, but of true embodiment of aligned wisdom and sovereignty from that space. Yes.
Nice. The woman from Sirius. If you could also get a hand on either your shoulder, the small of your back, or a very special scent, or she'll put a light symbol or a light object into your field as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And what does she have as a reminder for each of us?
Well, it's beautiful that you said gift, because she says that we are here to remember our gifts. And our gifts lie in the essence of who we are. So if you don't quite know or don't think you know what your gifts are, or you're asking yourself what your purpose is, our purpose is to be. And in your beingness and in the way you are lies your essence, as we said before. So there lies a gift in you allowing yourself to be you, because you may inspire something in others that you're not even aware of when you are authentically you. So she inspires us to remember our gifts and to open our awareness to what they may be and how they may show up, and to release all attachment once again of how we may come to the remembrance of them, and that the remembrance of them is present within us. It's part of our DNA, part of our beingness, part of our soul. And again, coming back to the cells of our body, there is remembrance in the cells of our bodies. So to allow ourselves to connect to that, and then without pressure, allowing a deepening of that remembrance in our own timing.
Brilliant. And I'm forgetting who that was. I think it was the woman from Orion. I think I got that right. Okay. And then the Lyran, if we could bring her forward. And if you could make eye contact with her, obviously your eyes are shut, but she'll, through looking deeply into her eyes, she'll communicate oceans or galaxies or the cosmos or just infinite love. But there's a delight and a movement in it that's just its own dance, is what I will say. But you're the recipient, and then we're the recipient through you.
Yes, so she takes it a level deeper. So, wait, she's just asking me to ground a bit more. Okay. There's an ancient beauty in that. So, there's a lot of white and gold. And there are those feline qualities. There is, if you wish to imagine a beautiful grand white lion, there is something very majestic about it. There is something very present about it. There is a deep awareness of its own beauty and beingness within this grace and grandness, very aware of its power, very aware of its radiance, but coming from the kindest and most loving space and place. So the message is to, although we, as we've spoken about, experience this earth realm linear, in a linear way, to allow ourselves to step out of that, to step out of time, in the sense that we are not bound by time and space in our beingness, at the core of our being, and to also remember that. So to go beyond the known, to go beyond any limitation we may have placed upon ourselves, to go further than we maybe would, but in a way that is aligned and flowing, and within that trusting the rhythm and the movement of our soul. So she's saying all of that is coming together, the Andromedan, the Syrian, all else, and that, bringing it back to that point of origin that can serve as a portal, as a stargate. So within this, shall we just say, human chaos, to have the courage to go beyond, venture into the unknown, trusting that we're guided within that, and to remember that in this space of the unknown lies infinite potentiality. All is possible in that space. So if we can even just feel that for one moment, then we've already opened new doors. Yes.
And finally, the woman from Sirius, green flowing outfit, tight with Earth's forest or forest consciousness. We can also bring in dolphin consciousness. I'm afraid to say there might be one last 30-second musical something, but it'll be force holding the bass, dolphins doing the peak and bringing some joy to it, and the woman from Sirius with all her pinpoints of light. She might put 10 of those pieces of light into some sort of a system vocalized, what am I trying to say? A flow, a harmony, a ribbon of light to you that turns into a quick, under a minute sound. But what are you getting? And I might have pushed too hard, and it's all good.
No, that's good. There's a depth in the earth realm that is resonating in the earth's heartbeat. And so the message for this short transmission is just to align, or allow yourself to align within the rhythm of the earth's heartbeat, your heartbeat, and the cosmic heartbeat, so that the elements can also flow through the space, the elements of this earth, but also in connection to the cosmic space. So just as an example, the waters of this earth connected to the cosmic waters, the depth of this earth connected to the higher dimensional earth planes, and so on. So, yes, that's enough being said. So just allow it to flow through your beingness. And if you like, if it resonates, just holding that intention of aligning the 3 heartbeats. Call
Yay. Uh, I'll read a passage. It'll be the voice of angels. It's from, I think, the appendix in my little Listening to Angels book. And then I'd love to get your reaction, and we'll have you
Mhm.
close this out, and we might have you back anytime to do a little more performance and connecting and sharing with all of us the brilliance, the ZG or sparkle or delight of the universe and your own soul. Um, Picture a collective voice of angels. If anyone thinks I wrote this, I saw balls of light as I was typing. So you're amazing if you think it was me. Awesome. Not, but that's okay. What's up with mankind? Why angels now? Awareness for mankind is on the horizon. Call it a spiritual awakening if you wish. It's a chance for all to grow. Mankind is ready for more unconditional love and compassion for all, and more compassion by all for all is needed. Mankind is ready for change from rat race mode. Happiness is obtained in the absence of ego. Ego is afraid to be vulnerable, to let go, and to be in the unknown. Again, there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Move past seeing the negative. Compassion can be taught through one's actions. How? Slowing down would do a world of wonder for most people. Doing it consistently is where the problems and opportunities lie, so stay present. Start right now. Letting go means less thinking. Do not get lost in perceived tasks, roles, ego, etc. Being in the moment is to do compassion for all. For individuals, an egoless path would be great, but it's just not realistic. Allow ego to serve as a reminder when it pops up. A reminder for what? You decide. How about a reminder to breathe? How about a reminder to enjoy each moment as it comes? Believe that all moments can be the same. Whether it's a moment at work or a moment looking at nature, all moments are the same and peaceful. Only thinking something can interfere with this. Likewise, there are not separate paths for mankind or separate worlds for individuals. One is one. Through awareness and owning the consequences of one's thoughts and actions, a person begins to see how all of life is truly interconnected in one. Faith in all can lead to a change in mankind. This is the path for all of man. This is about man bringing peace and joy to all. This is about your personal growth in your life and finding the next stage in your soul's development, as well as the continued evolution of mankind. The greatest gift is allowing all is growth and change. This is frightening for some. There's nothing to do here. Slow down the doing. Instead, breathe, smile, and relax. Appreciate all. Compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself generously and without fixation. Believe in all. And we're almost done. It is much simpler than people think. Again, this is because this is not about thinking, but less thinking. Open yourself up to life. Speak with us. Be. And that was Angels speaking. What's your
Beautiful.
reaction to that? And close us out on this show. We'll get you back on and do this again.
Oh, sure, I'd love to. Um, well, what stood out to me, the one word that popped up was allowing. So I think that's important to allow. We're so much in the doing and having to fix ourselves and working on ourselves and getting it all together and making it, but allowing. There's a softness in allowing, and so much more gets done at the end and is received by allowing, because there's not that force, not that pressure, but an open space that is willing to receive. So that's what stood out for me from that message. Allow, that we may allow ourselves to receive.
I have a quote from Archangel Uriel maybe 12 years ago. And he said something like, if more people would listen, less conflict would arise in any given situation. If you don't mind, we'll do a final act with angels or loving beings or light beings or your collective cheerleading squad. If you don't mind putting a hand out to the side off camera and just feel light coming in, and do it with the other hand as well. And when you get charged up with lots of love, light, support, you're going to bring one hand into your heart. And then when you do bring the other one in, if it's okay, allow all these loving beings to help you compliment yourself out loud. Give yourself the most shiny compliment and how brilliant you are aloud.
Okay.
And so one hand first onto your heart and it's charged up. and a second hand of love and support, and even the words if you need to just listen and get that compliment. But you're going to say it out loud with your permission. And then words of wisdom for us all, a final sentence or two about perhaps love or something. What's your final reminder for us? Oh, first, what's the compliment you're giving yourself?
You're absolutely amazing, and I just see that stream of energy. It's hard to put words to it. You're amazing. You're doing it. Keep shining your light. You're exactly where you need to be, how you need to be. Trust that and have fun.
Ah, I love it. And what's your final reminder for us all? Somebody just tuned in, they jump to the end. They're like, what's this all about again? What do they need to know?
That we're all in this together. We can't get it wrong in the end. We're meant to be who we are. Everyone's perfect in their own way. And to soften up with ourselves, with others, to be kind, to be compassionate, and truly listen and assist each other as we come back to community. And I always like to use this quote, as Ramdas said, we're all walking each other home, and to have an awareness for that.
Yay. Thank you very much, Marysol, for
Oh,
being a
such a pleasure.
guest on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for offering such an incredible space. Thank you.